What you see on the screen right now was my estimations for the upcoming Lexus lineup, but don't worry, we'll do a Toyota lineup after this. But the upcoming Lexus lineup, we're getting some more details coming out of automotive news about the revisions, and there will be a big revision to this lineup for Lexus in the near future. So we got new information on the Lexus lineup. Smash the like button and make sure you subscribe, because tomorrow morning, I'm heading out to the western part of the United States to give you guys the reveal of the new Land Cruiser, the new Prado, the downscale brother of the Lexus GX. Cannot wait. It's going to be incredible. So make sure you stay tuned, you stay glued to the channel, because it's going to be epic. I hope you have your snacks and drinks. Let's get into this revision of the Lexus lineup. Just keep in mind, Lexus wants to be fully battery electric in the United States by 2030 and fully battery electric in the world by 2035. And globally, they're hoping to sell 1 million or over 1 million battery electric Lexuses by 2030. Currently, well, they're hardly selling any with the RZ and the UX 300e and other markets. So we're going to base a lot of this of what automotive news is saying, and it doesn't mean what automotive news is saying is gospel. They do have some of the best resources in the industry. They're close to the manufacturers, but there are some differences, or there's some things that I can also add to spice this up a little bit. So the RZ hit the market for Lexus this year in the United States, first ever electric vehicle. And there are trademarks right now for an RZ. I believe it's an RZ 300, which is just the front wheel drive 150 kilowatts, or about a little over 200 horsepower. It's the same thing as a front wheel drive BZ4X. They could offer that as an addition or subtraction in some ways to the RZ in the United States. With the rear motor being gone, it's going to lose its direct forward desirability. It's really fast acceleration, 0 to 60 under 5 seconds on that vehicle, but it will gain in range. So if people just care about range and maybe a lower price point, maybe that's how you can get your hands on the Lexus RZ 300 instead. But we'll see if Lexus even wants to offer that. Next up is an EV sedan. The only EV sedan that we know of is the IS, or I would assume it would be called the IS unless they call the IZ or something. But what automotive news is saying is that it's ES sized. So the IS could potentially get bigger, but we'll see, because production for the ES needs to go back to Japan. The writing's on the wall. It's officially gospel. Toyota has mentioned that the ES production will go back to Japan for the next generation, which is 2025 or so. And that will leave the assembly line in Kentucky up for this upcoming ES, or ES size EV is what they're calling it. I think it'll be the IS. Now, they could call it ES size, but maybe that's ES size on the interior, because with battery electric vehicles, you have much more roomy interiors, and it'll have a long wheelbase as well for the battery. So very well, it could be a modified ETN GA platform, and since it's in 2025, it will not be the next generation EV platform for Lexus and Toyota. Expect this vehicle in 2025, as well as something else coming out of that plant in Kentucky as well, which is a 3-row vehicle. And I actually don't see it on this list. And this would be the TZ. I already made a video on the TZ. It has been trademarked, I believe, in Europe for the 3-row battery electric crossover that is going to be produced alongside of the BZ5X. That's unofficial as well. But the large battery electric 3-row vehicle will be also made, assuming in Kentucky, as well as this IS EV sedan. Now, the big question mark is, with this new platform in 2026, as a Lexus, what kind of vehicle will it be? Well, it won't be the IS, it won't be the ES. Could it be the new LS? I think it very well could be, or maybe called the LZ, or I don't know what they want to do with the naming of it, but it has to be a flagship. If you're coming with all new technology, it better be a flagship, $100,000 EV to go against the Plaid out there. But Automotive News is actually saying it's a coupe. I don't know. I feel like with the LS uncertainty and the cancellation of the LS, that's the rumors anyways, they need to have a flagship sort of vehicle. And I don't think a coupe is going to fit the bill there, at least not yet. They will eventually come out that EV coupe, or the sports battery electric vehicle. I think that is coming, but I don't think it'll come in 2025 or 2026, because we'll have the new LFR come out then, and that is the last like hurrah for internal combustion for Lexus. So 2 high performance coupes within a year of each other, I just don't see it happening. This vehicle will likely have 4 or 5 doors as the new flagship, either as a lifted sedan, kind of like the LF30 concept, something like that. It's going to be very futuristic, and we only have that side silhouette that Lexus has shown. The LX is supposed to get a 700H. It could be 2024 as early as then or later, but they're saying that the LX will get a re-engineering in 2027. That's hard to believe in my opinion. Unless they give it some sort of plug-in hybrid with solid-state batteries or something, I just don't see the LX changing that much. We know how much Lexus and Toyota like to keep their body-on-frame platforms going forever. Look at the 4Runner and the Land Cruiser Prado / Lexus GX. It took them, 14 years to change it over, or about 15 when it's all said and done, once they're going to be available in the market. So Lexus GX, well, we know we're getting the redesign early 2024. It's absolutely stunning, the GX 550. There will also be a hybrid version of it coming, just not at launch for our market. It might be coming at launch for other markets, though, as the hybrid, maybe Europe, for example. Lexus TX is coming. Well, Lexus TX will be here before we know it. I'll probably be driving it this fall, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe September. I actually don't know the drive date yet, but we know production is starting this early fall, if I remember correctly, for the TX. And then for the plug-in hybrid TX 550H Plus, production is happening in December. The media drive has to be pretty soon, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see my driving impressions of the TX, which is an upscale variant of the Grand Highlander. Grand Highlander is going to sell like hotcakes, but where the TX can really improve is the ride quality and handling dynamics. All right, the RX, well, just got redesigned. They're saying a mid-cycle refresh in 2027. Might be before that, but we'll see that. They're also saying a lengthened product cycle. Well, they don't want to mess up their formula too much. The RX is their best seller, and if they switch it to battery electric before there's a demand for fully battery electric Lexus RXs, that would be suicide for the company. So yeah, Lexus RX with the internal combustion engines can go on as long as possible. And we were supposed to get the plug-in hybrid. Well, they never said when. They just said at a later date. And the new RX has been on the road for about a year at this point, and no mention of the RX 450H Plus, which would be the best RX. I actually just saw a Copper Crest RX today at Trader Joe's. It's just gorgeous. Anyways, the NX, they're saying is going to get a refresh in 2025. Well, it came out as a 2022 model. That makes sense. They're saying a re-engineering in 2027. So that could mean different powertrains as well with extended product cycle. So yeah, NX and RX, they're two best-selling vehicles. They can't mess up the formula too much, and that's why they also have so many different powertrains to affect the most amount of market possible. Maybe we see battery electric versions of those, but I wouldn't get your hopes up until a complete redesign by 2030 or something like that for both of those models. All right, Lexus UX. Well, this thing they're saying is going to get re-engineered, which is what I would call a redesign more than likely in 2026. But probably a soft redesign because it's still going to be on the TNGAC platform like the Prius, for example. It got rid of the front-wheel drive naturally aspirated powertrain for the 2022 or 2023 model year, so it's going to be exclusively hybrid going forward, and it would do great actually not only with the upgraded 5th generation nearly 200 horsepower 2-liter that the Prius and Corolla Cross has. That should have happened before the Toyota counterparts in my opinion, but it would benefit as well from having a plug-in hybrid like the Prius Prime or the CHR plug-in hybrid in other markets. So now they're saying the LS is due for a mid-cycle freshening in 2025. I don't think so. My gut is telling me, and also the rumors I've read out there, and I take it with a grain of salt, but I see the LS as we know it being canceled in possibly 2025 as they bring in a new flagship to cover the top-end crossover market as well as the top-end sedan market. So I'm thinking lifted sedan with really good aerodynamics, next-generation platform and battery electric technology. So we'll see what actually happens. I just don't have high hopes for a redesigned LS as we know it as a sedan, because the ES getting a redesign in 2025 with hybrid, plug-in hybrid options is large. There's already more rear legroom in the ES compared to the LS. So in a lot of ways, the ES, as it's grown over the years, has kind of eaten into the LS's desirability for sure. Automotive News goes on to the ISA and a refresh in 2026. There's just no way, in my opinion. I believe this vehicle is going to be completely battery electric starting in 2025. I could be wrong on that, and in some ways I hope I'm wrong because I want the IS 500 to last as long as possible. I just don't see it getting a refresh with the patented designs out there on the battery electric IS. And the IS has actually been pulled from many markets around the world due to its safety features not being strong enough. I think it's side impact in Australia or something like that. It's been removed from the market there. So they're losing market share in other markets, just not having an IS. And the best way to do that is to come out with a futuristic IS on the ETNGA 2.0 platform with better efficiency, better range, better power, and more desirability. So the LC, they're saying, is getting a mid-cycle refreshing in 2025. I don't believe that either, because the LC has been continually getting small updates every single year with the suspension, the tuning of it. The tech just got updated for the 2023 model years, where they gave it the touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, got rid of the clock, got rid of the touchpad, things like that. So I don't think the LC is going to get much more life past 2025, if any at all, because remember the LFR is coming with twin turbo V8 and possibly hybrid technology alongside of it. The RC, they're saying, is going to get a refresh in the second half of 2024 and will add updated Lexus multimedia system. I think there's a better chance that the Lexus RC gets canceled in 2024 then it would get another refresh, because you got to remember 2019, the RC got a nice refresh with updated styling. So I just don't see the RC lasting until 2024, 2025, unless they want to refresh it or come out with that, I guess, battery electric vehicle that can be a coupe convertible, that can be a hatchback or lifted, more versatile 5-door as well. So, okay, so I just updated my spreadsheet. On the top was my projection for last year. And some of these things are getting shaken up quite a bit with recent developments, especially with the new tax credit rebate issue going on in the United States. It's really accelerated certain things on the battery electric end. So in 2022, that's already in the past. In 2023, well, the RZ was moved to 2023, right? So I have 2023 RZ. We have the TX introduction. We have a TX plug-in hybrid as well by the end of the year. And then in Europe, you're getting the LBX, the cute Yaris Cross-based, or what is that, the TNGA-B platform, something we don't see in North America. So you guys have that cool little LBX, which is absolutely gorgeous. I'd love to have that here as an option alongside the Lexus UX. All right. Next year is going to be potentially a little bit slower of a year. So the GX was released or revealed in mid-2023, but not available until 2024. So look for that to be some sort of trend going forward, where they have a big announcement in the summer and then availability in the following winter. RX plug-in hybrid, I sure hope we get it by the end of next year as well. NX could get a refresh. I actually moved it up a year because, well, this is the traditional refresh rate every 3 years, and I think that's logical for the NX to be refreshed, because otherwise there'd be just too much stuff going in on 2025. So I think they move it forward for a year, and then they introduce the LX hybrid by the end of next year as well. It's been trademarked at this point, the LX 700H. It's only a matter of time with the iForce Max twin turbo V6 hybrid that we see in the Tundra and the Sequoia, for example. So I think that's coming in 2024. And I think they could kill off the RC in 2024 as well, as they get ready to introduce the LFR. The LFR and the RC will not be in the same segment, but Lexus is dedicated to GT3 racing, so they're going to need a new GT3 racing car, and that's where the LFR comes in. All right, also in 2025, they'll introduce potentially 2 more battery electric vehicles. Like I mentioned, it'll be an IS, or whatever they want to call it, that family of EVs. Maybe they just introduce one. They can introduce multiple variants in the coming months or years, however they want to do it. But that's how I see it, rolling off the lines in Kentucky, where the previous ES is rolled off the line. But there will be a new ES coming from Japan, redesign. Think of the Camry coming out, or maybe announced by the end of this year. The redesign for 2025 Camry, that should be a good precursor for the upcoming ES with its hybrid powertrains, all-wheel drive, and about 250 horsepower coming from the hybrid setup with an electric motor in the rear for a nice little all-wheel drive system. But the ES could potentially be getting more hybridized plug-in hybrid powertrains as well coming from Japan. So we'll see. I'm really excited for the new ES, as it'll be doing triple duty potentially at that point if the LS is canceled. It'll be doing triple duty. What do I mean? Well, if the LS is either canceled or just not selling because it's a former shadow of itself, it's a different market, different era. Rest in peace, LS, if it's canceled. So the ES needs to be big enough to cover that. It needs to be sporty enough to cover the GS as well. And they need to offer lots of different powertrains to cover multiple price points. So really one luxury sedan is all that they need from the ES with internal combustion engine, and one sporty battery electric sedan is all they need from the IS family as well coming in 2025. So 2025 could be the future sedan lineup for Lexus. It could be really exciting. We should also see the introduction of the LFR. Also, the 3-row crossover could be coming in 2025 as well, coming out of the production plant in Kentucky alongside that Toyota BZ5X. So 2025 is going to be like a tipping point year for Lexus with battery electric vehicles and just a lot of excitement. You got a performance vehicle, you got a family 3-row, you got a sporty IS battery electric, and then you have the ES with plug-in hybrids and all-wheel drive hybrids. It's going to be a really, really fun year for 2025 for Lexus, probably for Toyota as well. I'll make a separate video on Toyota, don't you worry. And then in 2026, this is the future for them. I don't think we'll see solid-state batteries. That'll be in 2027 or 2028 or so. But this vehicle should be able to give us 400 or 500 miles of EV range here in the United States. And I think this is going to take the place of the LS as a lifted crossover. That's what my guts tell me. I have nothing to base this on. But we've also seen what some people called the LQ, which they didn't know what they were going to do, the powertrain, twin turbo V8 with the LF1 limitless concept. So I think it'll be kind of a vehicle, like I said before, that reaches the top end sedan, possibly top end crossover market as well. Maybe something like the Crown that we currently have now, just a lot prettier, but you get the idea. Kind of like a lifted sedan design, I think, is what they would go for there. Finally, get a redesign on the UX, better powertrains, probably maybe a fully battery electric variant to go alongside of it here in the United States would be pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. And then we'll get a refresh on the RX and RZ by then as well. So you can see how I've shuffled things a little bit compared to my last year's rendition of the future of Lexus. Partially because of what Automotive News is saying, but mainly largely because of the landscape that's changed radically for battery electric vehicles. Things have been accelerated, especially for the United States production end of things. Let me know which vehicles you're most excited for with this upcoming roadmap. The new ES and IS is probably what I'm most excited for. Actually, maybe the flagship EV, but we're still so far from that, 3 years out. That's hard for me to get really pumped about it. What I do know is IS BEV family has to be coming soon, and the new ES, I have a soft spot for the ES. I used to have an Avalon, and the Avalon and the ES has always been very similar vehicles. And the ES, if you get a chance, they're just so smooth. They're fantastic. One of the best luxury, entry-level luxury vehicles out there. It doesn't try to pretend or try too hard to be a sporty vehicle. This new ES coming out is going to be fun to see what Lexus does with it as the production goes back to Japan for the first time since 2015 or so. So anyways, got to shut down there. I want to see you guys in the comments. Discuss these new vehicles. What are you excited for? What are you not excited for? I'll catch you guys on Mountain Time when I reveal the new Land Cruiser for you on the channel. Just a couple days away at this point. So thank you for watching. Have a great day and peace.